Hello again. Yeah, I thought I'd do a video. I haven't done a video for quite some time. Various reasons why. I mean, overall, it's just been a very, very busy 2023 for me. But it's always been in my mind to catch up and do a few videos because I've made some changes to my system, and I thought, yeah, now would be a good opportunity to just do a couple of videos. Just to go through the changes that I've made, the upgrades I've made to my system during the year. Yeah, so straight into it then. So basically, I've been focus in 2023 was amplifier, and I was looking at upgrading my amplifier. I've had the opportunity to listen over the years to lots of different amplifiers in my system, and made changes here and there, but there's always one amplifier I've always kind of gravitated towards putting back into my system, and that is the Heed Obelisk Mark II, which I've had for a number of years now. And yeah, it's not an amplifier I can part with, because it really is a very nice sounding. It does make the sound of my system sound really, really nice. It's an amplifier that I can actually play at good volume levels without it losing any grip, without it losing its smoothness. And I think it's that smoothness and that quality that I really like. And I thought, well, maybe I should actually look at upgrading the Heed to another sort of Heed model. They do a Mark III version, which is rated slightly more powerful than the Mark II. But over the years, I've always had like an itch I've wanted to scratch, because there's a power supply that you can get to add to the integrated amplifier. And fortunately, one came up for sale, and I managed to buy it at a massive discount price on the used. It was a used model, but so I thought, yeah, this is the opportunity I've got, and I wanted to buy one, add it to my system, and see over like a period of time, or like 3 months or so, to see what improvements it provided and added, and what it added to my system. So I've managed to buy this, which is the Heed X2 power supply. So effectively, what it does, the power supply that is in the integrated now just operates the preamp section. Inside the X2, there's a power supply which basically operates the power amp section. So it's working on a dual mono type system. And yeah, it's added a little bit more power overall in terms of output. That side of it is noticeable. It's very subtle, but certainly the power is there. And it's always been an amplifier where, like I say, play at high levels and it retains that smoothness. This definitely adds that a little bit more power, and still maintaining that grip on the actual performance and the control over the music and what's being delivered through the speakers. Immediately, as soon as I connected it all up, I started playing a few records, and straight away what I noticed was a little bit more finer detail, especially in the higher frequencies. It was a little bit more detail, a little bit more openness in the sort of like the treble frequency areas. So cymbals were a little bit more crisper. At each tap of the cymbal you could just notice that sustain, and that each individual tap was much clearer And I think there was just that little bit more clearance in the higher frequencies on vocals as well, which is really nice. And also I found that the actual bass as well, it did dig, I'd say it digged a bit deeper, but it was certainly a little bit more grip on the bass. So overall, those were things that I really noticed straight away. So over 3 months, I've had an opportunity to play a lot of my records and my CDs, and certain records that I tend to use, which I'm very, very familiar with, and recordings, and whenever I add something to my system, I tend to use these kind of records and what have you. And yes, overall, I'm very pleased with what it's brought to my system. It's definitely been a worthwhile upgrade, and it's certainly ended my search for upgrading the amplifier. I think I've kind of like concluded that I've tried different amplifiers over the years in my system here at home, and overall, in terms of balance and performance, the Heed has been the one that I've enjoyed the most. It gives off a very engaging listen, I believe, when it's in my system. And the way it's designed, and the way, I think, read up about it, I think you will read some good reviews, and people go into far more detail than what I can go to. But it just gives off a fantastic soundstage, almost like you would be listening to a valve amplifier, and how that type of amplifier delivers that fantastic mid-range, and the imagery of, like, whether it's a singer or whether it's a saxophone player playing, and there's a depth of the soundstage as well as all-round scale, and there you go. That I just seem to like that type of production. So yeah, that is basically what I've done. So for now, the search for another amplifier has ended. I'll be focusing maybe on other parts of my system, perhaps in 2024. So there are other upgrades I've done as well. I have changed the cartridge on my turntable, so that'll be in a completely different video, and hopefully I'll get that video done soon and show what cartridge that I've actually bought and added to my system. So in the meantime, thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.